Okay, I did not plan on doing this video, but this is hilarious. So a lot of times people want me to call them and they want me to reach out. And you guys, I really wish I had the time to do that. But when I'm working with my one-on-ones, I'm actually helping them sometimes do these counties. And this is like the most hilarious thing that just happened to me. So I was like, you know what? This is probably a good video to talk about, because I was looking into these counties for like one of my one-on-one coaching clients, and they were giving me the runaround, and actually they wanted to do tax deeds and they wanted to do overages. So one, they did not have the tax deed list publicly, which oftentimes they should, or like smaller counties, they like print them in the paper or whatever. But anyway, somehow my student couldn't find it, and so I was like, okay, let me help her. Let me like call the county, because you know I know what questions to ask, and you know I know what to say. So anyway, make a long story short, I'm talking to a county worker, you guys. So I'm gonna tell you why you have to be persistent with these county workers, because some of them don't get paid enough to answer all your questions, and they'll just tell you no, or they don't know, or they don't have it, just to get you off the phone. So this is so freaking hilarious. So I'm calling this county, and I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for the upcoming auction. Now, I did not know if there was an auction or not, but that's what I just said. And they were like, well, we only have the auction at a certain time of the year. And I said, well, where do I find that? And so she was like, well, we're not having it until March, so you need to call back in March. And so I was like, okay. I said, well, where is the list for the delinquent? Like, who's delinquent? Because if you guys are having a sale in March, you should have a list of the delinquent properties, right? And she was like, oh, you got to call another department because we don't handle that here. I was like, okay, thank you for your time. Do y'all know I hung up and called the same number and got somebody else, and they had a list? So I thought this was like hilarious. So I'm saying that all to say that sometimes when you're calling the county, you have to be persistent, because people are going to tell you something because they either don't know themselves or they just want to get you off the phone. So needless to say, I was not only able to get a list of properties that are going to sell, but she did give me a link to the delinquent people that were delinquent. So I'm saying that all to say that don't take no for an answer, and don't take I don't know for an answer. Hang up, call back again. If you get the same person, say, oh, I was looking for such and such department or something like that. Another thing I want to say is a lot of these counties, if you're doing overages, because I did ask about that too, because I'm like, okay, if it's, you know, if the sale's going to be in March, you could still collect on the overage. So I asked the lady about overages too. And she was like, oh, that's not public information. And I talk about this in my course. Everything that comes with real estate is public information. It's a law that you can utilize, that they cannot withhold the information. So she basically was telling me that I couldn't have the information, and then I had to slap the law on her and tell her that I have a right to that information, and I quoted it, and she put me on hold. She probably thought I was going to hang up. I was on hold for about 15 or 20 minutes, and she came back and she asked me what my email was, and she sent me the list. So I'm saying all that to say is that if you're having a hard time, number one, finding a tax deed list, you just need to hang up and call another department, or call the same department and just ask for somebody different. And then number two, if people tell you that they don't have the overage list, number one, it might not be the right department, or number two, they just don't know. Literally, like, you would be surprised. Like, I'd be going in these counties before COVID. I used to go in these counties and acting like I was an attorney. Like, literally, I was like, well, according to the law, I researched that actually I can do that. And you would be surprised when you say stuff with confidence, people really believe you. I know when I first came to Texas, I was just like, well, no, in the other county, they accepted that. I only was working like one county, and they were like, oh, really? Well, we need to get back to you on that. But I said it with so much confidence and conviction. It let me know that that county worker wasn't sure of what she was saying. So I'm saying this all to say that even when, like, this was early on, like when I first started, even when someone tells you no, just hang up and try again. Just hang up and try again, because these county workers really don't be knowing what they're talking about. Happy investing, you guys.